What things do you wish you knew back
Before
when
I
before
started,
you started? The 23-year-old Malaika.
believing in yourself is very important. If my mind is not in a good place, the business is gonna, crumble. You may not see it, but some parts I may not do
Yes.
them well. Trust God most especially, and just don't compare yourself because that's
Hello, my name is Judith Kabahinda, and welcome to Behind the Business. Behind the Business is more about how to secure the bag. This show is here to inspire the young people who want to start businesses and people that are already in business or someone that wants to start up a side hustle. We will feature different entrepreneurs, different business coaches, and mentors to help you on this journey. They say the hands tell a story, but what happens when these hands weave dreams into reality? Today on Behind the Business, we are sitting with a lady whose reputation is worn by her clients on their heads every single day. Get ready to discover how patience, creativity, and Malaika's entrepreneurial spirit has helped her succeed in the salon industry. Yes, Malaika, how are you today?
I'm fine, thank you. How are you?
Tell us about yourself. Who are you and what is Braided by Malaika?
My name is Angel Samuela, and I'm popularly known as Malaika. The business is Braided by Malaika. I also co-founder the Hairpot 256 and also Malaika Official, which is our latest new brand, which is a hair accessory line. Yeah.
So, Malaika, tell us about Braided by Malaika and how did the idea come to life?
Braided by Malaika is one that was started, I would say, as a joke to me. Not a joke, but I didn't think it would turn out to be serious as it is right now, 5 years later. But it just started as a need during the lockdown. I needed to do my hair for my birthday, and I just decided to go to a shop, get some braids, and get my hair done. But of course, a background, sorry for context, I used to do hair in campus, but like natural hair only, not like braids. So I just loved hair generally, take care of my
Every
natural
girl
hair,
loves hair.
yeah, and things like that. So the lockdown came, and as in school, then as in year four, so there's nothing for us to do. It was so idle. So I'm like, in this time while I'm at home, instead of being on TV or
What can I do?
what
Yes.
can I do? So I decided to do my hair. That was in May. I think my birthday was 2 days to my birthday. So I decided to braid for my birthday. Then my friends loved my hair, and then slowly and surely it just became the
You
brand
didn't,
that it is.
you didn't know you were gifting yourself the biggest brand
I
today.
didn't know. I didn't know I was walking those footsteps. Yeah.
Amazing. So, how then do you decide, let me open a physical location for the business? How do you then get into business?
As I said, Braided by Malaika started out very organically. When I decided to do my hair was May 2020. So by 31st May, I already had a client. So just referrals,
Okay.
slowly and surely. So May 31st comes, I have a client. June, someone tells a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend. And just like that would be booked out months in advance. But by then I was still working at home. So I worked home for like 2 years before I decided to open a physical store. Yes, for 2 years.
2 years
Yeah.
at home.
Yeah,
Oh.
my mom's living room. But while doing that, I was improving myself, I was trying to learn new hairstyles. YouTube was my best friend then because I didn't know anything. I had no knowledge. I'd not gone to braiding school. I was just
An
finding
engineer.
myself. Yeah.
Tell me an engineer. We have an engineer who is a hairstylist.
Yeah, I was just trying to discover who I was. So, but I did know that it was going to pick up like this because it got so busy. It reached a point where it was time to go back to school in like November 2020. And I was second guessing, should I really go back to finish
Oh,
this
and you were
degree?
still at school.
Yeah, I
this
was still
whole
in
time?
school.
Oh.
But we're going to finalize like in January. Yeah, we're going to graduate in Jan. But I was still in school then. So by November, I was still busy. So I had to shut down business, go back to school, finish, and then come back and thingy. So I got to the physical store. It's just referrals, really. I got busy. The house became small.
Yeah.
And then there had to be a time to take the biggest risk of my life. That one.
And you got, how did you get your location? How did
um Scouting. Like the first time I went out to look for a location. I didn't have the budget for it. My budget was small, so I could say the first time I went out, I didn't think I would make it. So I had to come back home for another extra year to like save up and actually put myself in that position of am I able to what? To rent a space, deal with URA, KCCA, hire
Yes,
people
yes,
and be responsible for them because now you're out in the open. Like
yeah. You're
that's
not
such a
at,
big
not in
commitment.
mommy's sitting room. You have
Not
to pay
anymore.
rent.
I have to pay
Yes.
electricity, water, and all these responsibilities. So it was just a leap of faith for me. I feel like the time I decided to get a physical store, it was very, I was at my lowest, I should say, because I was so scared. I was filled with so much fear because I didn't know what was coming up for me. I didn't know if I was going to handle the rent. I remember the first time I'd gone to look for a space, it was out of budget. So when I found HW Mall, where we are currently, it took a lot of prayer
Yeah.
because I wrote down what exactly how I wanted it to look. I wanted a big space. I wanted something new, white walls because I like white. I like light.
We have that in common.
Yeah.
I'm a
So
white lover.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I wanted like a view and it had all those things.
Oh, yeah.
However, I had
Tick the boxes.
yeah, it ticked all my boxes, but before I had gone to many others that didn't. So I was kind of discouraged. But also HW Mall was not my ideal spot because I wanted it to be in Bugolobi,
Oh.
not so far. Actually,
Target market? I don't know.
no, just I was just I'd never been Chitintal in my life.
Oh, that was your first time.
That was my first
And
time
look at
that
how
I
amazing the place is now.
yeah, because I started in Bugolobi in the flats.
Oh, you were so mom stays in Bogolobi.
Yeah,
That's why. Oh, amazing.
that's where everything
Okay,
started. So I just wanted
makes sense. Oh,
something around. Yeah, so that's how we landed, and it was hard, but we got through.
so Malaika, your salon has a huge clientele. It's amazing when you say it's a COVID baby. I'm like, Malaika, COVID baby with the clientele that you have, and it looks amazing. How are you doing it? How are you keeping your clients every day? It's a busy day. I mean, I've come to your salon several times. You've worked on me, but it's organized. There's an appointment. You have to come in at 3. You have to come in at midday. If you don't, then they don't work on you. So how are you keeping up with that and with a huge clientele that you have?
I think it's just sticking to the plan that has worked for me. You set goals and promises to yourself of how you want to be or how you want to run business, and you make sure you keep those promises to yourself. And also, just I believe in continuous improvement because when I began, I think I'm very grateful that I began when I didn't know anything because now I'm humble enough to go back and polish things. I'm humble enough to go back and get guidance. I'm humble enough to go and make research. Just, I'm humble enough to go back and always ask for help.
Yes.
Yeah. So I think that has also helped me so much when it comes to like training my team, which is something I really emphasize on. It doesn't matter if you've been with me 5 years, 4 years, 3 years, you're gonna undergo a training at least every week. At least
amazing.
if I'm not busy, we always do trainings
You
every
do it
week.
yourself?
Yeah, I'm the one who handles it. So just helps us correct the mistakes and also minimize because honestly we can't always be perfect. But with those trainings, it helps us minimize so many mistakes. And it also comes for complacency. You're no longer complacent, like, okay, we have the clientele, let's just sit and
let's see
relax.
it.
Like that pride is killed. You
Do you
get
base the whole training on client feedback, or do you just do this?
client feedback can be so broad, but it depends. Like if we're getting clients complaining about a certain area so much, of course we'll train at that area. But if there is nothing and it's just smooth sailing, I come up with, like, let's say if they're new hairstyles, I will teach them how to do those hairstyles. I will help them. Like if I see something new even on TikTok or YouTube, I'll bring that knowledge and share with my team as well.
So that means that's how you keep up with the trends, because you always have amazing.
Yes.
The latest hairstyles are braided by Malaika. She always has the latest. You look at someone coming from her salon, you're like, oh, this actually exists. I need to do that. So that is how you're doing it.
That's how I've been doing it, because once the team is not trained enough to do well,
Yeah.
definitely the results are going to be bad. And so it's like directly proportional to the clients. If the team is not producing what the clients want, the clients are going to reduce. So, and also just making sure that, you know, as I went back to the promises you make to
Yeah.
yourself, the values, the things you stand on, you just be true to them.
Be true to them.
Yeah.
So every business has its challenges. I want to believe that Braided by Malaika has had its toughest moments.
Yeah.
What were those moments and how did you survive? How did you come out of these moments?
My biggest challenge overall in the 5 years, because we made 5 years this year.
Happy
Yeah.
birthday to Braided by Malaika.
Thank you. Yeah, so I would say my first biggest challenge was getting a team, my
Yeah.
first employee. That was so hard for me because I didn't know how to leadership. I was not so used to leadership.
Yeah,
I didn't know how to manage.
a
I didn't know
young
how
girl
to.
coming out of campus,
Yeah,
an
it's
engineer.
23 then, imagine. So I didn't know how to talk to someone and tell them what to do. Like all I knew was internship. When I was in internship and someone telling me what to do, that's all I knew. And I'd never worked in like corporate, so I also didn't know
You've been a
how.
boss before. You were just
I
a
didn't
young
know.
girl out of campus.
Exactly. So I didn't know how they deal with people.
Mm.
So I could say leadership. I remember hiring my first employee and I didn't know how to, like, if she made a mistake, I didn't know how to correct her on it. I would just do it for her. Like, okay, you made a mistake, step away, let me do it. Right.
Oh.
But then with time I've learned how to be a leader. Just because you correct someone doesn't mean you're a bad person. And for me, I think that's what I had in my mind. Like if I complain so much,
You're gonna be a bad
I'm going
person.
to anger them and maybe they won't like the environment. But I realized like if you tell someone where they've gone wrong, as long as you do it in a respectful way, they're always willing to change. So I could say it has been leadership, growing a team, but I'm also grateful to God that my team is the best thing that happened to me. Like they don't stress me as much because we're
Used to
now
be,
the team is as big as 19.
19.
Yeah.
Ooh,
So they
amazing.
don't stress me as much. Like we have a plan, we stick to the plan, we talk to each other, we are free with each other, we laugh together, we celebrate together. And I think that has made my work so easy.
And to be honest, I've seen the same girls there. Every time I come, I see the same faces. And
Yeah.
you're a great leader.
Yeah, I'm very grateful to God for that.
So Malaika, tell us, how did you grow from one single Malaika from Mommy's sitting room to 19 people?
So it started, I think the law of demand is what I can say.
Yes.
So the clients keep increasing, and then you realize, because I was first one. Now, I used to work with my sister, Dorothy.
Dorothy.
So she would be the one finishing the ropes and I was done doing the actual braiding.
Yes.
Then when it came time to go to school, my mom was like, you need to get someone to sit here and work for you at school. But then that wasn't going to make sense because now this person doesn't know exactly what I'm doing. So that's when I was like, let me stop and then I'll come back in December. Then we continued. So I brought her back in December.
So she knew how to, Dorothy knew how to start the braiding, to braid?
No, she was she was finishing at the bottom.
Finishing, yes.
Yeah, so after December, Dorothy now, because she was also in school, she has to go back to school. So it now leaves me alone.
Yeah.
That's in January there. So I get on this second person to come and help me braid.
This is at home?
Yeah, at home still, because I was home for like 2 years. And then slowly, the more we get busy, so it used to be in a sitting room, it would be one chair like this.
Yeah.
And then two of us are here. Yeah. Then by that we got busy, so we started using the second chair.
Yeah.
So it would be 2 people in the morning or the whole day, because honestly, when I started, you'd come at 8 and leave at 6.
Slow. I know, and now it's like 4 hours.
All that time.
Tremendous growth.
Then you say working on speed, so I was like, by like media, we need to be able to like sit 2 at least. So you started doing 9 and 12. So one person sits here at 9, another one there. So slowly, the more the clientele increased, the more the team also started to grow. So that's how that's how I got to 19. Like the more clients came in, I was like, okay, now we can sit 2 people. Now we move to 3, now to 4. And in my head, I'm like, every client has to have at least 2 people working on them at every time. So that's how we got to 19. So at 19, we work on like 6 people per shift.
Per shift, yes, yes,
Yes,
yes.
maximum
So how
7.
many shifts do you have?
We have 3 shifts. We have 9 a.m., 12, and 3 p.m.
9, 12, and
3
3
p.m.
p.m. So by the time you left home, how many girls were working with you?
I think we were 9.
You're already 9. Oh,
Yeah, one like okay, 6, 8, 9, like, yeah, 9 to be safe.
9.
So imagine the sitting room was getting so
Was
small, and it was not
full.
even so big. Like you know how the flats are. It's just like a small section next to the balcony. So we were already getting extremely busy. So I could say 6 or 9, but I think we were 6
Mhm.
by the time we got the spot, and then when we were in the new place, it went to 9, then 10, then 11, then 15, then 19.
19.
But 19, of course, includes now like a receptionist. You have to get a receptionist, things like
So
that.
the receptionist doesn't help with the hair.
Her job is just to answer your messages when you send them on WhatsApp, Instagram, to post, get the content. And that was a very helpful part for me because I used to do all that. I
By
would be the
yourself.
one WhatsApping, I would be the one taking the content, I would be the one doing the
Braiding
accounts
as well
and braid.
sometimes.
I would braid all the time. I got a client at 9, 12, and 3 until someone told me that, you know, you're missing out clients when you don't
Yes,
respond
when you
on
don't
time
respond on time.
and things like that. So I was like, okay, let me get extra help. So
So how are you? Because when I look at your socials, Instagram, TikTok, you're doing a great job. How are you keeping up with that? How are you doing that?
I could say like I just have this thing in my mind where I treat the business like I don't say a school, but
Yeah.
like it's more I really treat it in an organized way. Like it's not just any other business. It will have systems. Like there's a
Yes.
content plan
Yes. Yes.
for every day. Like by the time a week is beginning, we already have content for that week
For that week. So
that's
from
coming
Monday to no, I
to
think you're off
Saturday.
on Monday. Is there a day Braided by
Mm,
Malaika doesn't open?
yeah, Monday doesn't open on
Monday.
Monday.
So from Tuesday to Sunday, there's a
There's
plan
already a
for the week.
plan. Yeah, and that helps me a lot because if you create content like the day you're going to post it, something can happen. You could get
Yes.
sick,
Yes.
you could get tired, someone can interrupt. So it helps us to do it before. So that's called batch creating, which
Mhm.
helps us to be consistent
Be
at least.
consistent
Yeah.
because you post every single day on your socials. I think I follow you, so I see that a lot.
Yeah. So it's just having a plan and sticking to the plan and being don't get complacent. I feel like with business it's very easy because it's your business.
Yeah.
I'm my own boss. You can take things for granted.
So you have
It's
to
very
be the
easy.
leader in the business. You have to post your content and keep up with the trends that are going on.
Yeah.
So, Malaika, what advice would you give to someone young out there that wants to start up a business? Maybe they have the money or they have very little money, they have something small, they have a lot of ideas going in their head, and they're like, I want to start something. Could be a salon or mostly a salon, you're in that, but you're now a businesswoman. What advice would you give a young entrepreneur out there?
I would say first of all to make as much research as possible. Like even if you don't know anything, like we are very blessed that in this generation we have the internet is to our disposal. You can access it at any time, and there's so much material. You don't even have to pay someone money to get,
Yes, yes.
these things like it was back in the day. So just make as much research as possible and use the internet to the best that you
To the
can,
best, yes.
because everything is on the internet. Everything that you'd ever want is on the internet, and you don't even have to pay for it anymore. And also, believing in yourself is very important. I believe in the mind. If your mind is not in a good place, and for me, it has worked for me. If my mind is not in a good place, the business is gonna, crumble. You may not see it, but some parts I may not do them
You'll
well.
come and speak rudely to your worker,
Yes,
and they'll feel like tomorrow I'm not coming back.
exactly. So the mind, and remember, as an entrepreneur, everything starts from the head, from your mind. Like you think of something, you write it down, and you do it. You don't just start anyhow. So just guard your mind. The Bible tells us to guard our heart, but also the mind, because it's the mind. As a man thinks, so is he.
Yeah.
So everything is from the mind, and then also so many entrepreneurs, let's say when they're starting, there's so much competition. There's me who has been in business for 5 years. There's you who wants to start out.
Today,
So you're now
yes.
looking at my success, thinking that, oh, I can't start because how am I gonna get to
How am I going to compete with Malaika? I mean,
Exactly.
or with the 5 salons on this building?
Yes, but one thing I would say is just because your day one cannot be my, it's
My 5 years.
different.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
exactly. So you just take it one step at a time. You believe in yourself, you trust God most especially, and just don't compare yourself, because that's a very big thing that there's so
You
much.
just
Also
you
with the
can never do.
internet, there is, you
Yes.
can see this and that and
Someone
that.
and someone is going to, girls today have something, they're going to display something that is actually not real, that is not it, and you feel like, okay, she's too successful, I
Mm,
can't get there, or I want to run 5 years ahead of Malaika, who said
mm.
5 years, and I mean, you're just one day old.
Yeah, so just take it one day at a time, and also don't compare yourself. So
All right.
comparison is the thief of joy.
Yes, it is.
So it will steal your ideas. Even if someone else is doing it, like, you can also do it. I believe there is so much room for
For
everyone.
everyone, yes.
Yeah. So just that. And also, there's this thing that I've been that I they call me to speak at, like those events whereby there are people who come and they speak to like young entrepreneurs. I feel like you need to get accustomed to those things, because
True.
me, when I was starting, I had no one to look to. Like in my
You didn't have a
family,
mentor?
I didn't have, as the first business person in my family, at least my
Amazing.
close knit
Yes.
family. So I didn't have anyone telling me, oh, this is what you
This
should
is what you
do.
should do.
Maybe that's,
These are the mistakes you shouldn't make in business.
yeah. So at those events, you have people in business who have gone before you. So instead of you making those same mistakes that they've done, you can learn from them to avoid wasting time making those same mistakes that you
So
can make.
everyone should actually have a mentor or a business coach.
Yeah, that they go to or follow, and feed your mind with, the things that you want to be like you can't be wanting to start a business and all you scrolling on Instagram is buying clothes, all these rich
And
kids
buying
and things like
bags.
that.
Yes, yes, yes.
So you should get accustomed to like podcasts, read books, because I read books a lot, and
Yeah,
for me, I
I know.
believe
You read a lot.
like the
You read a
material in
lot.
books, when you read people's biographies, like there's a hope that builds in you, like if this person can make it,
Then I can also make
so
it.
can I. And then you also learn so many lessons from those very books that you don't want to repeat. Now, like the lesson on saving, I learned how to save because I read a book. I learned how to handle feedback because I read a book. Like there's so many things I learned because I was reading.
Yeah.
And even just have a humble life, not having to show off that, oh my god, because honestly, when you start making the money, it's too sweet.
It's too sweet. Because I wanted to ask, how are you? You're a young girl, Malaika. How are you managing your funds in business, not mixing your capital, not buying bags or shoes off your business money? How are you managing funds, and how can you advise the young people out there? Someone has a business, they are getting a lot of money, the sales are increasing every day, but they don't know how to manage these funds, or they're mixing up funds, their business funds, with their personal money or personal needs.
One thing I say is financial discipline. For any business to grow, there has to be cash flows. You need to have money, because money is the bloodline of the business. So if you're not financially disciplined, say if you've made 1 million today and then you spend it on a weekend tomorrow, how are you going to make more money on Monday? You get. So it's being financially disciplined, and also knowing that living be within your means.
Yes,
You know,
living within your
one thing
means.
about business, when cash flows start coming, those are just revenues. You've not deducted expenses. So it can get exciting
Yes,
that
it can get-
this is the money I'm making and what. But and then you start overspending, like you have the money.
Yes, you have the money.
But for me, one thing I've learned is to just live a humble life. Like, yes, I travel and all that stuff, but I'm not going to overly do it. Like, I'll live a humble life, travel when I can, and when I can't, I don't do it for the approval of others. I do it for me. And most with a young generation, I feel like most people do things for the approval.
Yes,
They want to meet the standards of a business
how
owner.
is she looking at me? My
Yeah.
friend traveled. I need to travel as well.
Exactly. Things like that, which are very unnecessary. Yet you can just have a simple life, go out with your friends once in a while, and still, that's how I've been able actually to build. Right now, I have like 3 businesses. Like there's
Yes,
Braided,
yes.
there's the hair pot, there's Malaika official, which is new. That's how I've been able to do that. And also just separating your accounts is very important. Like if this is account for business, let it be that. And then paying yourself. You're an employee to the business. You're
You have
not
to pay yourself.
you're not the money of the business is not
I think
yours.
starting my business as well, I had an issue with paying myself. I would keep telling my mentor, I had a mentor, I would keep telling him, I feel like I can't take away from the business. If I take away this money, then how am I going to bring more medicine? How am I going to restock? It's like you have to pay yourself. How are you going to fuel your car? How are you going to do all these things? So you have to pay yourself in business.
Yes.
And know that I'm paying myself, let's say 500,000, let it be 500. Don't go above it or below it. Because if you don't, because tomorrow if you're not there, the person that is helping you manage is not going to get a salary because you're now the manager. So if the manager is there and you weren't paying yourself, then it means you cannot cover the manager's salary or the cost.
Yeah. So that's also very important, paying yourself. And also just, I don't know, me, I'm very aligned. Like if I say I'm not gonna do this, I'm not going to do it. If I can't afford something, I won't buy it.
And
I take so much thought before like I make certain financial decisions. So I feel like things like that, and also saving is very important, and mainly from the get-go. It's like a muscle. If you go to the gym and you want to, get abs, it takes time. In the beginning, it's hard, but by the time like 3 months are done, you have your goal there, which is the abs. So saving from the get-go, from the time you start getting the good money, you commit. You can even be like, let me put 1 million every day, or every month into a certain account, and do it consistently. That way you'll see it growing. And even you yourself, when you don't save, it will feel like something is wrong.
Something is wrong.
Yes.
Are there some investment plans or what is it called? Accounts, types of accounts that you'd advise someone to use that help the money grow with interests and stuff like that? Are there?
Yeah, actually, I started mine in 2022. A UAP account.
The UAP account.
Yeah.
Insurance. The UAP insurance.
Yeah, the investment, that thing. The unit trust.
Unity trust. Yes,
Yeah.
Yes, unit trust.
So what you do is every time you get the money, you subtract expenses, whatever. The surplus goes into the unit trust. And that way you know that the money is there, but it's also working for you. So that's like another stream of income.
Business money, or is this personal money that you're saving on the UAP account?
You can open either. It can either be for your business or it can be for your personal, depending on what your goal is over a certain period
anyway,
of time.
You will need emergency funds. There are times the business will be slow. There are repairs that might come up and you don't have money, but if you have your emergency funds, it's going to be very helpful in business.
Yeah, so unit trusts are a very good idea right now for us, and I'm very grateful that I actually took that on, because then you're even able to do other things. Like if you're to travel and pick money off the unit, you're just picking, say, that interest you've earned.
Oh, the interest.
So you're literally not spending any money. Imagine,
because it's spending off the interest.
Yes, like you took money to a bank, but they're going to give you money for keeping it there. Yeah. So that's what a unit trust is about, ideally. Yeah.
How has social media helped push your business, boost sales in this fast-paced world?
It has really helped, because I believe the reason we got such visibility and up to today has been social media. I remember my first Instagram page, I opened it after 10 clients. I told myself I'll open it after I get my first 10 clients. And then also the name, that brings us to the name of the business.
The name, Malaika.
Yeah, yes. So my name is originally Angel. I'm not a Fredster.
And I thought you were called Malaika. How did you transition from
Angel to
Malaika?
Yeah. So it happened that when I was starting, like as I told you, I didn't know if this was gonna go. Like I was just doing it for leisure. So I was like, I need a name that if this thing goes south, they won't know it's me.
They won't know it's you.
Like we shall all just know some girl called Malaika who was there during lockdown, who did hair, and then probably went into other things. So I'm like, okay, let's do Braided by Malaika. But of course it was me, because I used to advertise on my personal page as well. But I was like, just in case, people will not really overly associate it with me. So that's how the name Malaika came, because in case something went wrong, I didn't want them to know it's me.
It was not going to be Angel.
It wasn't going to be Angel, yeah. So, and luckily, it picked up. Yeah. Glory to God. So, then the other one was
social media.
Yeah, so after opening that page, after my first 10 clients, that's when I started, pushing for it, posting all the time, like whatever hairstyle we made, I posted it up.
Every day.
every day. Well, never had a client because some days I didn't have clients.
Were you
But
putting prices on your posts?
no, there were no
Oh,
prices
okay.
at that time. So even up to now, there are no prices.
Mm-hmm.
But it has helped us with, getting to different people because people will text you under the post like, oh, where are you located? Where can I come and get these braids? And I feel like that has helped us up to today because you have people who come, like, say, from the US. They're like, oh, I saw your page on Instagram.
Amazing.
Yeah, let's say they're coming back to visit family. They already
Summer,
know.
yes.
They already know like where they're going to get their braids done
Yeah.
because of socials. And also just being vulnerable. I try so much to share my journey
Yes.
on Instagram, on TikTok, and also just even what I'm doing. Like, am I doing a new hairstyle? Am I doing my first braided bride? Because I realized people like to get personal, yeah.
Personal, yes.
So
Personal
if someone can
yes,
relate with
with you.
you,
Relatability. Yes.
they are more likely going to transform to be your client because you can
100%.
have 40,000 followers
Yes.
but zero
Zero
clients. That's a real thing.
Yes, it's a real thing.
It's a real thing. You can have 100K but get no
no
clients,
clients
at all.
at all.
And that's because you're not sharing. You're not being vulnerable. Like, you're not relatable. Like, what are you doing
Yes,
today? Did
yes,
something go wrong? And I get this inspiration from there's some Kenyan business people that I follow,
yes.
and you realize that they are always posting something,
Something.
and not just the product, the process of how the product is made. Are they opening a new store? Are they doing a pop-up shop? Like, they check their audience through the steps. And I feel like that's very important when you're trying to build a brand on social media because people start relating with you and people love a journey.
Yes, they love
If
a
I know
journey.
your journey, I'm more likely going to support
It's like
you.
you watch a series and you want season 1, season 2.
Yes,
Yes,
I'm more likely going to be, because now you've touched my soft spot. Like, you've told me your challenges and things like that. So it has really helped us a lot with the visibility part, and also just people knowing even the new hairstyles that we are doing.
That you're doing.
Because imagine you're doing all these things but you're not out there.
Because to be honest, I get stuck with what hairstyle to do next. I end up holding my ponytail, but when I go to your page, I always get
like there's so
hairstyles.
many other things you can do. Yeah, so it's a really great thing, and it's something that if you're starting out in business, you should actually put in your budget or in your plan.
Social
have a
media,
whole content plan for something, because everyone is on their phone.
Everyone is on their phone.
We no longer have to have a signpost out somewhere
Outside.
for someone to come
to you. They'll just what social media platforms do you mostly use, and you'd say this has really worked for me?
I would say Instagram is my very, very first platform to use.
Yes.
And then currently also TikTok, because you have so many people coming from TikTok as well. And I feel like right now TikTok is what's on, even more than
TikTok.
It's easier to grow an account on
yes,
TikTok than
account,
it is on
and
Instagram.
clientele,
Yes. So I think those are the two main ones, and
ones.
maybe WhatsApp
Instagram
as well.
and TikTok and WhatsApp.
Hmm.
So if we are to go into one of the most talked about topics, work-life balance, how are you doing that?
Honestly, right now I'm thriving, but
Ooh.
when I look back, then I've honestly just started enjoying my life now.
Yes.
Because the first 3 years, honestly, I was working. I was in the house. I was going nowhere. I wasn't meeting my friends. I wasn't doing. I was just grinding.
That's the startup journey. It gets better, but it starts.
Yeah, I was planting the seeds, and it was hectic. Like, I had no life at all. I don't even have photos of myself hanging out in those first 3 years. They are very minimal. Yeah. So after we moved to our first location, now that's when a client of mine talked me into having a receptionist, so that, like, in case you're away, there's someone there. So it started like that. So I had more free time, and I realized when you have a proper work-life balance, you're able to think more for the business,
Yes.
Because as an entrepreneur, you're the one. Every idea in that business starts with you. So if you have no time and you're always behind, working, you're not going to think of new ideas. It's just going to be the same everyday things. So what has helped me, the work-life balance is very important. I get time off. I work 4 days a week. Even when I'm there, I don't have to do the actual braiding and things like that. I get time to travel. I get time to meet my friends. And even networking is also very important. Like, you get to know people in other businesses that you share, their struggles and things like this. You're able to go for events where you get like more knowledge. You're able to go for your own personal trainings
Yeah.
and bring that knowledge back to your
Back to your
team.
business.
Yeah.
And
So it's really good.
how are you handling the 3 businesses, Malaika Official, Braided by Malaika, the Airport? How are you?
I think it's systems, honestly. Without the systems, I placed it Braided by Malaika. Actually, the hairput started 2 months after Braided started at home.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Because there were certain ombre braids by then had just come out and no one had them in Kampala. So I was like, there's a gap.
Can I tell you something funny? I thought the Airport was actually something that started like way before and was like maybe your mom's business. Since you did hair, so I thought maybe she's getting it from the mom or something.
No, it was mine. I started it 2 months in September. I started in September, brought in my first. Those were one of my big risks ever. Like I was importing from China and I didn't know if they were going to scam me. By then, everyone was like, if you import, they're going to scam you. And I even don't know how this knowledge came. Honestly, I thank God because by then, everything I did, I had first talked to God about it. So he just led me to a great supplier who is up to today my current supplier. Imagine.
So could it be because you used to go maybe to town, look for these braids and you weren't finding them?
Yeah.
And you decided, you know what, I can actually bring this in for myself.
Yeah, so when I brought them in, I remember they were so expensive. A piece is 15,000 and yet what's on the market is 2,500.
Yes.
So there's that fear of, are people going to buy my things? Am I wasting time? But it just picked up, like I sold out from then on. But then also being busy with Braided by Malaika, Airport suffered to a point that I would sell out and be quiet, just not restock. And then maybe restock after a long time, then just like there's no proper flow of operation for the Airport. And then my mom later had to come in, help me like pack orders. No, my mom is my greatest supporter, by the way. She really helped me a lot. So she would help me pack orders, count my hair, tie it together, arrange it according to colors. So that gave me a boost, like, okay, this thing can actually
work out.
So then later we ended up partnering with her, got a physical store, and that's how the Airport now exists.
So now there's a physical store for Airport?
Yeah, it has a physical store. It's at Pioneer Mall, PH109.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And Braided by Malaika?
It's at HW Mall, Chitintale.
And Malaika Official?
Same location as
Same
Braided.
location. Okay.
So it's just systems, really. I believe if you have systems and also treating a business as itself, like it will have to have a manager, probably a receptionist, a salesman, maybe a content person. Like, of course, if you're starting up, of course, you can do all these things yourself. But when it starts like picking momentum, you've got to put that in mind, because with those systems, you're able to you just check like once a week what's going on and things like that.
So what things do you wish you knew back
before
you started, the 23-year-old Malaika?
I wish I had a mentor, like someone to look up to, or to just get that advice
to guide you.
Because of course I had my family. My mom has been of great support, but she had her own fears as a mother. Like, you can't tell me you're going to leave your 4-year course and then do this thing.
I mean, we've paid for you to be an engineer, and then you're like, you know what, I want to be a hairstylist.
Yeah, things like that. So I just wish I had like a mentor back then. Of course, my mom wished me well, but she was also scared in herself, you know?
Yes.
But someone to tell me how business is like, because honestly, as I told you, when I was getting my first location, I was so depressed. I was sad because I didn't know what to expect. It was also very scary for me.
No,
I was so scared.
Starting can be scary.
Yeah, I was so crippled with so much fear, and it was hard. So I can imagine if I had someone helping me and maybe telling me it's going to be well, all these are the prices you should go for. It would have been very easy. Like, I shouldn't have stressed so much about that, because I lost so much weight, I remember, during that time. But yeah, so having a mentor and also just knowing that it gets better with time, you know?
It does.
Most times when you start a business and things go bad the first time,
yes, they do.
You can really be so down.
Give up.
Yeah, you can easily give up. But it's all part of that journey. It's never a straight line. life is never, anything is never straight line. I've
Yes.
never seen anything that's a straight line.
Mm-mm.
It has ups and downs, and all those ups and downs,
They're there to teach us,
yeah, they
because if you
teach
don't
you.
fail, then you can't succeed. You have
Exactly.
to learn from failure and mistakes.
Yes, and they build your muscle to even handle greater challenges in the
Yes,
future.
exactly.
So yeah, I think those are
Wish you
the,
had a mentor.
a mentor and knowing that things get better with
Yes.
time. Yeah, and you can always, you need to start small.
Yes. I mean, you started from your mommy's sitting room, and here you
Exactly.
are, an employer of 19 people with a huge salon and one of the best in Kampala. So, wow, Malaika, this was such an insightful conversation. Thank you so much for inspire. I know you've inspired so many young people today. I mostly liked your when you talked about leadership, because I had the same challenges. Like, how do I start talking to these people? I mean, I'm
Mm,
a young girl. Some of them are even older than me, and I'm like, how do you start correcting someone? But it gets better with time, like you said, and it always gets better with time. You just have to be patient, be persistent, and keep up. You have to learn every single day. You have to learn more, and make sure to have a mentor, and believe that you can actually start small. Don't don't think that don't look at people that have made it. Like she said, she's been in business for 5 years, but there was day one. There's always day one for everything, and we can always make it. Are you an entrepreneur? Are you someone in business, or someone that wants to start up a business? Then Behind the Business is the show for you. Make sure to subscribe, share, like, and follow us on all our social media platforms at Behind the Business. And if you know any other business owners or mentors that you'd like us to feature on this show, please tag them in the comment section. Thank you for watching. See you next time.